Things are calming down after the invasion of Super-Earth, which was, without a doubt, one of the most hyped events in the history of Helldivers 2. And it came with a bunch of new stuff. Weapon customization and SEAF soldiers were two of the things that I wanted the most, and since we got both of those things, now I'm left wondering what Arrowhead could possibly have in store for us next. That is what this video is about. I have written down here a handful of things that I want to see added to Helldivers 2, so let's just get in and start discussing it. The first thing I have written down here is vehicles and vehicle customization. We already have the mech and the FRV, but I really want to see more vehicles in the game at some point, especially multi-person vehicles. As someone who grew up on Battlefront and Halo, and that still plays PlanetSide 2, something about getting into a vehicle with my friends, it just does something for me. And I really need my fix since Halo is struggling and Battlefront doesn't even have multi-person vehicles anymore, so please give me more of these. Another thing that I want is vehicle customization. I want the whole vehicle bay on the ship to open up someday and let us fully customize our vehicles. One idea that I've seen floating around is about mechs, and letting us choose what weapons we want for each arm. Right now the Patriot has a machine gun and a rocket launcher, and the Emancipator has 2 autocannons. But what if we could change that? Remove the idea of having multiple mechs at all, and make the different weapons for each arm unlockable, similar to how attachments work in weapon customization. That way, you could have 2 machine guns, for example, or a rocket launcher and an autocannon at the same time. And the FRV could have tons of options, like changing the HMG for a mounted railgun, like a Gosshog from Halo, or maybe adding extra armor to the outside that would do a better job of protecting you, but it will prevent passengers from leaning out to shoot. Or even the ability to change the tires could be an option. Maybe you need to choose between off-road tires and bulletproof tires. With a system like this, there really are endless possibilities for what they could add to certain vehicles. And I think this would encourage more people to use vehicles, especially if there is progression attached to each one, like weapon customization has. The next thing I have written down here is enemies. We're obviously going to be getting more enemies pretty regularly, as we have in the past. The Illuminate could definitely use a few more to make them feel fleshed out, but another thing they need is a cool sub-faction like the Predator Strain or the Incineration Corps. Maybe they could have mind-controlled humans as a sub-faction, like SEAF soldiers or cultists, where you could take out some kind of mind control device on the map to free them and turn them back to your side to fight the rest of the Illuminate units. Sub-factions are something that I want to see more of in general, on every front. They present unique challenges and are a fun way to add some flavor to the Galactic War. Another thing I want to see is a proper boss fight. I still haven't played the original Helldivers, but from my understanding, they have proper boss fights in that game, and that sounds really cool. Watching a giant enemy emerge from the fog with an awesome boss theme playing while you and your team struggle to take it down, that all sounds so fun to me. And maybe one day we'll even get a 4th faction. I'm not holding my breath or anything, but if this game is getting support for years to come, I could see it happening at some point. I think it would be cool to fight a rebel human faction, maybe with some rogue Helldivers on the enemy team that can call in a few stratagems during a fight, but that's just my idea. I'm sure that there are better ideas for a 4th faction, and I would love to hear them in the comments. The next thing I wrote down here is missions. I think that mission types are a huge part of what makes Helldivers 2 fun, because they can create so much variety in how you play the game. A blitz mission, for example, is much different than a defensive mission like high-value asset extraction. Now that we have the ability to make AI units fight each other, I'm hoping that we'll eventually see missions where there are 2 enemy factions fighting and the Helldivers get dropped right in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to try and demonstrate what I mean by having 2 enemy factions in one battle. This is on the Helldivers Companion, so let's say that the bots and bugs both invade a planet somewhere in this sector, the Arturian sector. Let's say Arcturus is the planet in question. So the bots would go from Demiurge to Wilford Station to Arcturus, and the bugs would come from Esker and Borok to Arcturus. And we'll say that this is under control by Super Earth, when you go into a mission, you might have missions that are just bots, missions that are just bugs, and missions that are both. And let's say that each faction has to get enough score to reach their own liberation quote-unquote meter, up to 100%. Let's say that in this situation, the bots have 85 and the bugs have 80. You could take missions against one faction or the other to hurt them in particular. Like if the bots are in the lead here and we're desperately trying to hold the planet, we can go after the bots because they're a higher priority target. And if the planet is guaranteed to fall no matter what, let's say that you could go and fight whatever faction you don't want to control the planet the most. Like if Arcturus was a giant E710 farm, for example, we're going to set one up on that planet, we could let the bugs take over Arcturus. Or vice versa, for whatever reason we would want the bots instead of the bugs to have it. That is if we are guaranteed to lose the planet. I think this could create a lot of really cool moments in the Galactic War where the factions are fighting each other. And you could even go and say that the Illuminate could invade a planet like Nubularia out of the black hole here. The Illuminate will go from Meridia to Nubularia, and you'll have Illuminate versus bugs on the ground. And I think that would be really cool to see. I think that we can see that it works pretty well on Super Earth with the SEAF soldiers versus the Illuminate. And it could even be as simple as during bug missions, for example, the Illuminate come in every once in a while in a ship and, you know, mess things up for you. I think it would be interesting to see, and it would add a brand new dynamic to the game. Another mission type that I've seen people suggest is an all-out war between SEAF and an enemy faction, where you need to help SEAF capture and hold the map. And I'm also going to demonstrate what I mean with that one in Microsoft Paint. So let's say that this is our map. SEAF troops is kind of along this like border of the map, and we'll have automaton troops along this border of the map to start out. I have a couple of points of interest, a couple of areas that you want to capture and hold. We have 5 points here, and think about it kind of like Battlefield Conquest or Battlefront, I guess. But you need to move up with SEAF soldiers, and you could have an SEAF outpost on the border here that is under attack, and you need to go in with your troops and help liberate it and push forward the front, and that would push forward your total territory. This is a total amateur mock-up of what I imagine this mission going like, and maybe when you liberate the area, they can give you access to an armory of support weapons or an FRV, and you could have, you know, special objectives like the automaton convoys that come through and add some like time-sensitive elements to the mission. They'll storm through into your territory and you have to get rid of them. And maybe down here there is a bunch of SEAF anti-tank troopers that you can go and save and get them on your side to help take down that convoy. It could work where you have to fill up these percentages like a liberation campaign. And by holding objectives, you increase your percentage, kind of like, again, Battlefield or Battlefront. Definitely like Battlefront, I think. If you've ever played Supremacy in Battlefront, that is kind of how like holding the objectives and taking over the map would work, in my opinion. But if you take over all 5 at once, you could end the mission outright and then call an extraction. I think there's a lot of potential with an open-ended big mission like this. The only question is, can the engine handle it? And can the devs make it and make it fun? I think that there's a lot of problems that could happen with a mission like this, but I think this is a great idea. This is, again, I love big combined arms warfare in like any game, and I love Helldivers too, so I'd love to see those two things get married. I have another radical idea for a mission type, and it would directly involve the DSS or some other kind of space station. Imagine a mission where enemies boarded the DSS and you had to go aboard to save it. This would obviously come with a lot of changes in the gameplay. Calling in stratagems wouldn't really be possible in an environment like that, so maybe you'll have to pick some supplies to take with you before you board the station, like a support weapon and a backpack. Maybe you'll be limited to your basic loadout and you'll have to go find supplies, support weapons, and backpacks during the mission. It would consist of indoor combat, mostly in corridors, with a few open areas like hangar bays and mess halls. There wouldn't really be any large enemies like Hulks or Factory Striders, but you would also be coming in underpowered, with no orbitals, airstrikes, or turrets at your disposal, so it kind of balances itself out. There are so many things you could do with a mission like this. Maybe you have to drive the enemies back onto the ship they boarded from and follow them in to finish the job. Maybe you need to fight your way to the station defenses and man them, taking out enemy ships and decimating their fleet. I know that this mission in particular is a total pipe dream, but this sounds like an insanely fun mission to me, and it's something that I've been thinking about ever since the DSS was built. My point is that mission types are very important, and we got some awesome ones during the invasion of Super Earth, and I'm looking forward to more. The last thing I have written down here is social features and clans. Another thing that we need in Helldivers 2 would be good social features. Even simple things like commending teammates for their actions in a game would go a long way. It would be great to give the best divers a badge of honor for being a great team player. I think the key to future social features would be the DSS. I know it's a bit controversial, but I would love to see a social hub added to the game aboard the DSS, a place where you can go to meet other players and take part in fun little activities. You could have a shooting range where players can try out any weapon in the game for free. You could have shooting range challenges to, say, beat a certain score, and maybe if you beat all the challenges, you win a cape or a title or something. You could have a versus mode on the range where you challenge each other to see who can get the best score, and maybe wager things like samples to make it interesting. The DSS could also have an LFG page, or an LFG area, where you can go look for players that fit your playstyle and join their games. Another thing this game needs is definitely a clan system. I imagine it'll be called something like platoons or legions, but you get the idea. This would also help players find groups to play with, and it could help you find a common goal and a fellowship with your divers in arms. Okay, I'm back on the Helldivers companion to show off an idea I had for a possible clan system. So let's say that I opened a clan in Helldivers 2, which I totally would. I totally would do that, and I would get all of my subscribers to join. Basically, what I'm imagining is, let's say Beckvim 3 here, under attack, and I'm a bot diver, and I want to go help. As a clan leader, I could say, market. Any members of my clan that go and fight on Beckvim 3 will get bonus medals or bonus XP, for example. Kind of like how in Battlefield, when you follow squad orders, you get extra XP for doing it. I think this would be great. It would add so much to the Helldivers community to have these groups of people that are collaborating with other groups and working together to make big defenses. And it would definitely make the bug divers and bot divers hate each other a lot more. But that's all part of the game, in my opinion. I believe that clans would bring so much to the Helldivers community, and it would only make the game better. Clans have a ton of potential. I keep imagining something like Warframe, where clans build their own base somewhere in the galaxy and have their own progression systems. You could have players donating samples and requisition towards a project that would unlock a free stratagem for your clan for, say, a week. And maybe even entire weapons and stratagems could be unlocked through the clan system itself. This would definitely encourage everyone to go find a clan to play with or start their own. Maybe your clan gets bonuses in the sector where you built your base. There's so much you could do with this, and I'm hoping that we get a finished clan system one day with in-depth social features. Just, man, that would be so awesome. And there you have it. That was pretty much my wish list of things that I want to see in the future of Helldivers 2. But I want to know what you want to see in the future of Helldivers 2 in the comments below. I read all of my comments, and no, I'm not a goddamn AI. People keep commenting saying I'm a goddamn robot. I am not. I'm not. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos on Helldivers 2. And that is all I have for today, so this is the SES Prophet of Dawn, signing off.